All right, we'll entertain any questions if we'll go
I
on
can go
to.
with my pair first. First one is to Minister Dunkley,
Yes. Mr.
and it's a two-part question. The Government speech suggests that you might be increasing the size of the Bermuda Police Force by the 20 more police officers. The other one is that gun bounty. Are we talking of realistic sums of money being offered for the guns?
Thank you, and good question. The throne speech says that we will recruit 20 new officers. The size of the Bermuda Police Service will not be increased. The suggested mandate for the size of the police service is about 475. At the present time, it's slipped down to 430. So what we're going to do is make sure that the Commissioner of Police has 20 more officers, and he believes at 450 he can get the job done. Second part about the gun bounty, we'll talk more specific about that in the coming days, but we believe that it will have an impact, and there will be interesting amounts of money for the type of weapons that are recovered. Thank you.
And the second question is to the Minister of Finance. The payroll tax exemption, do you see this as marginal or major decrease in payroll tax revenue?
I think it's a marginal decrease, but if we get more people working, ultimately revenues increase in the long run. It's hard to say the short run effects, but we're confident that while it might save the employer some money, if on an aggregate basis, we feel that it should be either tax neutral or actually tax accretive.
That's it.
Goes for Minister Dunkley. I was trying to catch you before you moved, sorry. In regards to the gang mediation, there's obviously a disconnect with our young man and society, and with this recent double murder, they've taken things to another level. So how do you propose to have that connection to even get them to sit down to mediate if they seem like they're clearly on another level?
Very good question. The gang mediation is not going to be done by myself and Captain colleagues. Gang mediation is going to be done by people who have the skill set and the mediation skills required to get into those neighborhoods and to start to build those connections. I'm not too proud to say that the previous government started a program called Safe Streets. We're going to pick that thing up, and we're going to make it work in our community. And I think people will be surprised with the results. I'm very excited about it.
So Street Safe is definitely coming.
It is coming, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let me just add to that, the mediation part. This is about an initiative that the government wants to help get going, but we will not have our hands mixed all up in it. Those who will be a part of that mediation will be, many of them will be people who have been involved in gangs before and understand the language and understand what's going on. That's who we'll be looking at. We will also be looking at partnering with the private sector to help fund this, because we recognize that we're all affected by this. Families, businesses, you name it. So we're kind of excited about this initiative, the mediation.
I have a question for Minister of State.
It's okay.
Yes.
I know you might be tired of this.
I won't tell you what he said in the other room.
Go far away.
But I guess my question is, you would be aware of the motion that was the opposition motion that's being moved.
Yes.
Been moved. The notice was given regarding terminal. And the motion is that they reject the removal of terminal until there's comprehensive immigration reform that addresses the job and career opportunities. My question is, why did you choose to remove the term limits and then work on the other reforms that you've already identified? Why did you do that?
Again, I think I'm going to make it very, very clear so everybody understands something that, for whatever reason, is being misreported or totally and utterly misunderstood. Term limits have absolutely nothing at all to do with opportunities for Bermudians and Bermudian employment. That is work permit policy. We'll say it again. What was the purpose of term limits? The policy was originally introduced to end the legitimate expectation of residency. Legal advice showed that that policy should never have been put in place, so it was removed. That is now done. What we have to do is concentrate on proper work permit applications, matching the types of jobs that are available. We have to make sure Bermudians are trained for this workforce and the changing environment of our economy. That is totally unrelated to term limits. Unfortunately, the opposition is incredibly confused. And I know my colleagues are looking forward to that debate next week because they will outline it again for Bermudians to understand exactly the difference between work permits and term limits. We have a number of initiatives that we're excited about in the throne speech. We have dealt with the term limit issue in terms of the policy that is now changed.
But would you agree that a lot of the anxiety in the public is as a result of the fact that the work permit regime didn't appear to be working that well for the Bermudians?
I have no problem with accepting that statement. That is the work permit regime. It has nothing to do with term limits.
My other